This place boring as hell, on God, bro.
Darn you, Abe Lincoln. Sic semper tyrannis.
Howdy. Today we're going over the historical and the setting inaccuracies in the beautiful world of the Wild West. Everyone's favorite Roblox cowboy game. And now we're here, where the biggest RDR2 reference is Arthur Morgan's grave. And you might not think that this does a lot, but it actually doesn't really help a lot, but it kind of settles down the setting inaccuracies. So yeah, they have the RDR2 reference. It doesn't really help much, but it narrows it down into a few areas, because RDR2's map, Saint Denis takes inspiration from New Orleans, and that's down there. And they also mention Pennsylvania and New York. But New Austin probably takes place somewhere in this general region. But there are people also saying it's somewhere here. Odds are it's somewhere in this region. Or actually maybe like as far out as this, actually. Because there's also that. Wide range, really. I think they also might mention Virginia's in there. We can also do a little bit of narrowing by just looking at the actual map, where there's Little Rock Reservation, and Little Rock is the capital of Arkansas. There's also Bronze City, and it's probably just speculation because of all of the gang violence and shootings, but people think it might be Detroit, which I'm pretty sure is in Michigan, but I don't know that for 100%. But yeah. And we can also find a shocking amount just by following this railroad up this way. Because as we go by, we follow these train tracks, and immediately we're put into a swampy bayou area. And if we decide to lumberjack and cut down a few trees, one of the first trees we find is a bald cypress tree. And also alligators. And then if we just continue down this track a little bit. Oh wait, there's another thing up here. Up here, there's a big old giant sequoia tree. Giant sequoia tree right there. Those are only in a few areas. Then just keep following down this area. Like the worst time for the ferry to come through, huh? Okay, now that we can go through, just keep on going. I think those are more bald cypress trees. Keep on going. We have a plantation house. I'm not going to say exactly how I can make this correlation, but all I'm going to say is that now we know we're somewhere in the South. So a giant house in a plantation. Oh my god. Okay, so we'll just ignore that happened. And then we'll keep on going this way a little bit. Change path from the railroad. Keep on going this way. And what do we find? We find a great big desert. Where are deserts usually in the United States that would fit the time zone of everything else? And that would fit like the general area we've established so far? New Mexico and Texas. Yeah. And then down here, we can find even more. Similarly to the RDR2 reference, we could find out the bases of the area around there. And then what's that? Oh no, is that a Back to the Future 3 reference? The giant DeLorean, and Emmett Brown's note thing? Pretty cool Easter egg if you haven't found it already. You're welcome. So yeah, Back to the Future 3, giant desert bald cypress trees, all that glore. If we looked at bald cypress trees, which are most likely found, if we looked at bald cypress trees, which were most likely found, what is happening to this pencil? So anyway, if we looked at the bayous, which are where the bald cypress trees grew, they were mainly in this area, and I will say, between Louisiana and Texas is where most people think that RDR2 would have taken place. And the 4 states could be based on these 4 right here. That's what most people think. There were also bayous up here and all the way up here. Those are the 3 main hotspots for bayous in the United States. If we look at the sequoia, the great sequoias, and the redwood trees, the Sierra and redwood trees, those only grow in this area, mostly in this region right here. In this part, I know it's called like Sierra Ridge, maybe it's over here. And that's why they're called Sierra and redwood trees, and sequoia trees. They only grow there. I mean, they grow other places in Europe, but this mountain doesn't go all the way down. Now, if we look at the plantation, pretty clean cut, just down the middle here. Most of that, I think, I'm not an expert on the Civil War, but it's most of this. Yeah. And if we go into the Great Desert, it would probably be somewhere in this range. But I would like to take into account they have a town called Puerto Dorado, and that's in Spanish, so it'd probably be in this region here. Probably that. And this is my final point in this big yap sesh. But the shooting for Back to the Future 3, which is the Wild West one, was in California. And I think it was like down in the south somewhere. I'm probably wrong. It was in Jamestown, California. I don't know where Jamestown is, but yeah, somewhere in California. Basically, now we're just going to compare the hot spots in these 2 maps and see where the setting could be. Now, I just want to point out that this is the map I did whenever I was comparing it to RDR2. That's that. And after I did all this and do all that, I did more information, and it seems that people really think it's between this Louisiana and Texas range. So yeah, people are very heavily convinced that it's between those 4 states. And just to point out, that was also a big hotspot right here, those 4 states. Aside from that, it could also be like this little junction right here. And it could also be somewhere in this northern Mexico. I guess it's also possible it could be Virginia. It could also be like this Nevada, California range. That makes sense. I'm not going to rule out the possibility that it's in Detroit, but I won't entertain that idea either. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 hot spots of where it could be. Yeah, we have 4 hot spots. And basically, these are the 4 possible spaces. I know Tyridge is probably never gonna confirm which one it is. And we're probably never gonna get a real answer to this question on where does the Wild West take place. It's really up to speculation, but the most possible place that I see it being is in this area, Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, because Little Rock is also a place in Arkansas. So I think that really makes sense. I forgot to mark that whenever I was doing the original thing. But, I won't stop you from thinking it happens up in Detroit. It's not just personally what I would believe as like a serious topic. This is probably where it takes place, this little area. It would explain the bayous, it would explain Little Rock, it would explain the deserts, it would explain all that. But there's one big flaw about the timeline part of this whole jumble thing. But there's one big thing that's always made me mad about the timeline part of the Wild West. If you look all the way on top of Auburn Hall, see that flag up there? My God. Is that an American flag that was only used in the 1790s? My. That doesn't match the timeline of RDR2 at all. Because RDR2 was like 1899, and they also have John and Abigail Marston's graves, and that goes to like 1913. So in 1913, why would they be hanging that flag up there? Huh? Give me one good reason. And I don't want to hear it's just, people hang up like the first ever Betsy Ross flag. Like, people hang those up because it's the first flag that was given to the U.S. after the Revolutionary War. But that's a different flag. It has the one little star in the middle. That's different. That's not the same thing. It's not. It might look a little bit better, but it's not the same thing. And also, if we go down here, it doesn't make sense for it to be in the 1790s, because Abraham Lincoln's picture is right there. And you could either take that as he's the current president, which would put us in 1860s probably. Or like, he's probably not the president right now. They just put up the picture of one of the best presidents ever. You saw the intro of this video. You know what happened in 1865. They have a picture of him, so it's not the 1700s. So it's not just because the reference. It's really confusing, man. Maybe they did just put that up there to celebrate the United States being its own thing. But, it's weird. It kinda is weird. Just the time zone. I can admit that flag thing is probably just, like, remembering the Revolutionary War and how America very bravely broke away from the British. And I still hold a grudge against British people. But still, bald cypress trees went extinct in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and based on Abigail Marston and John Marston's gravestones, that puts us probably in the early, as I was saying before Zeus so rudely struck me down, it's probably around the early 1900s. It's really not too complicated to find out the exact date, just based on tombstones and relevance and the architecture and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so yeah, if this is your first time seeing our channel, then you should definitely check out some of our other videos. They're kind of entertaining, and they're all about the Wild West, the Roblox game. We think it's way better than Westbound. We might expand to other Roblox games if it's heavily requested, but if it's not, then we most likely will just stay on the Wild West. But mainly what I wanted to say is that we have some YouTube videos coming up. Just a bunch of our members have really not been active currently, and we have a bunch of short team, small team, short-staffed, all those issues and stuff like that. So this video, the Undead Spurs short film, that trailer, we said it'd be coming this month. Might not be that soon, because our lead actor hasn't been on really since I uploaded that, and we only have like 3 people now to do that, so we might get it out. If we do, it might be later in the year though. we don't expect it to be in like June, and maybe like June, July, that area. But really, I don't see it coming up. Wait, let me check my calendar really quick. I don't see it coming up till maybe October. I feel like then would be a better time anyway, because the Halloween stuff, blah blah blah. We have more videos coming up. I might give sneak peeks on those. But for now, I just wanted to tell you, like, we are working on stuff. We are not dead. We're breathing, but we're breathing very shallowly. Thank you.